Happy 6th day of Easter. It's Friday, April 10th. I'm Monsignor Landry, National Director of the Pontifical Mission Societies. And in today's gospel, we get another of Jesus' risen appearances. Jesus, you remember, had sent Mary Magdalene on a mission to tell the apostles to meet him in Galilee. He had met him in the upper room before they got to Galilee. But in today's gospel, Peter, Nathaniel, Thomas, called the twin, James and John, and two other disciples who were not named, are there in Tiberias. And Peter says, I'm going to go fishing. And they say, we will go with you. They were returning in certain ways to what they were good at, a little confused about what they were to do now, and probably just hungry. And off they went. And they tried to fish, as fish are caught on the Sea of Galilee in shallow water at night. And they caught nothing. As dawn hit, Jesus yelled to them from the shore, little children, have you caught anything? Probably because of the sun, not to mention because of Jesus's risen appearances, which were a little different. They didn't recognize it was Jesus. And they said, we've caught nothing. So Jesus said, cast the net over on the starboard side. Perhaps they thought that he might have seen some fish from the shore, but nevertheless they did it, and they caught so much fish that their nets were about to break. They would in fact catch 153 fish, which is a factual number. It's an historical fact that that's exactly how many fish they caught. But at the time, that number was super symbolic because there were 153 known countries in the world, and there were 153 different species of fish known at the time. And so they were basically catching every type of fish, symbolizing every type of nation, every people. And so St. Peter, when St. John said, it is the Lord, because St. John quickly made that conclusion, since that is exactly how he had called Peter, Andrew, James, and John at the beginning, after the miraculous draft of fish, after Jesus had hijacked their boat as a pulpit. And Jesus had said, from now on you will be fishers of men. As soon as St. John had said, it is the Lord, Peter jumped into the Sea of Galilee and swam about 100 yards in order to embrace Jesus as quickly as possible. How great Simon Peter's love was for Jesus. And they dragged the net ashore. Jesus said, come have breakfast. How sweet it is that the Lord was cooking for them. He already had some bread baking on fire, and he brought some of the fish there. And so they had breakfast, fish and bread. Later, we'll see at the very end of the Easter season what Jesus does at the conclusion of the scene when he totally restores Simon Peter to his commission, asking him 3 times, Simon, do you love me? 3 times Simon had the chance to say, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And Jesus said, you will show your love for me by the way you care for my church. Feed my sheep, feed my lambs, tend or protect my sheep. Jesus wants to meet us at the seashore. He wants to meet us at breakfast. He wants to meet us in the heart of the city. He wants to meet us at dinner. Jesus constantly wants to be our companion. He wants to stay with us in his risen life. He wants us to recognize, too, that just like he was recommissioning the apostles in their mission as fishers of men, with confidence that they would try to catch every person of every nation. So he wants us in his Catholic Church, his bride, to have that same type of confidence and that same type of scope. He's sending us out to the ends of the earth, and he has appeared to us in order to make us confident in this task. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.